This this meeting will be recorded. There are a few people in the room, 2 DCF people and 3 other people who will at some point identify themselves, I'm sure. Sandy Hoffman, Commissioner Sandy Hoffman is here. We're just waiting for her to show up. She's here somewhere in the building, so she'll be here momentarily and then we will get started. Apologize for the delay. We had a hard time finding the password. I don't know in what order we want to proceed. Would the people who are present physically like to go first? Are you planning to stay for the whole thing or?
Hi, we are definitely planning to stay for the whole
Okay.
thing, whatever order makes sense to you. We're happy
Okay.
to jump in anytime.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, is there anybody on this hearing who needs to leave relatively quickly, who would like to go first? This is an opportunity for you to tell us, give us your comments about the proposed rules in the draft form that we provided them, and anything else concerning the housing continuum that we will be working with for the coming years based on Act 143. Is there anybody who would like to volunteer to go first, or shall I just call on people? That's Chad Simmons. Would you like to go?
Sure.
If you could say your name and your affiliation, if any.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Chad Simmons. I'm the Executive Director of the Housing and Homelessness Alliance of Vermont. I have just a few brief comments and plan to submit more in writing. Thank you for the opportunity to thank you for the opportunity to provide public comments. It's an extremely important and necessary piece of the continuum is to get input from participants, people impacted, as well as service and shelter providers. I think our first comment is in relation to the process and the timing given to provide comments on the emergency rules. We found out about it, like many, I'm sure, on Friday. And so a number of our members who are service providers and shelter providers didn't have much opportunity to review the draft rules, emergency rules, and didn't have a lot of time to share comments. And so the folks that did were surprised by the quick turnaround. And so we would ask for more time be given to be able to review the draft rules, both these rules and then the draft emergency rules that are yet to come, and provide more time for review and comment. So I think that would be our first and most important piece. The second is HHAV, our organization, provides a lot of opportunities for convening of shelter and service providers throughout the month. We've shared with OEO and DCF staff that we are available to host during already scheduled meetings or new meetings, and happy to do that to get proactive input from the field and to be able to really craft rules that align with the law, but also make sense for the field to be able to implement in a real way. So I think the second piece of comment is that as you're continuing to develop these emergency rules, to proactively reach out to organizations like HHAV and others who are on the call to get their input prior to drafting the rules. We think this is really, really important to be able to actually build relationships and collaboration with the people that are implementing the law. and as well as to proactively kind of avoid any challenges or mistakes or harm that could be caused by implementing rules that don't have the full buy-in from providers. We did hear, I did hear from a couple of members and shared, especially in part 3, the verification requirements and application process. There was some initial concern that this process will be kind of overly bureaucratic and process intensive. We hope that and could potentially leave out people who actually do need services and shelter, but might not meet the criteria. So we hope that this process can be streamlined and made much more simple and less burdensome for both the shelter providers and service providers to implement, as well as for people seeking seeking services. I think the final comment that I'll just share today is just a reiteration that the implementation of this law should be based on data and on the ground needs. So if there is not services or shelter available in a particular geographic region or anywhere in the state, there should be alternatives for people to access services and shelter if there isn't something available. So we would strongly encourage the emergency rules to reflect that and show that there are other opportunities or other options for people who are experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness to access if those capacity or services aren't available in that particular region. So with that, I'll end my comment and look forward to other opportunities to weigh in on behalf of our members.
Thanks very much, Chad. I appreciate your comments. Is there anybody else on the online that needs to leave sooner, would like to go next? Or should I just call people? All right. In order of on my team screen, I will ask Deanna Hartog.
Oh, I'm in the room.
Oh, you are. I thought you said you were saying. I'm sorry.
So you can skip me. You can go to.
Oh, got it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Carrie Duquette Hoffman? Is Carrie here?
I am, but I had such a hard time unmuting. I so apologize. I am really just here to listen in to the public comments. I work with VHRC. Thanks so much.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks, Carrie. Jessica Radboard.
Alex is going to be speaking on behalf of the ACLU today, and I'll take it tomorrow.
All right. So you are Alex. What is your?
Carambolus, would you like me to spell that for you?
I would.
Okay,
Is it Alex with an I or an X?
It's Alexanbra. And then my last name is Carambolus. That's spelled Karambbelas. Just let me know when I'm ready to go.
I'm ready for you.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
So thanks again. My name is Alex Carambolus. I am a policy advocate at the ACLU of Vermont. I am sharing these comments on behalf of the ACLU of Vermont today, but the majority of our comments will be provided in writing ahead of the July 27th date. The legislature granted the Agency of Human Services the authority to promulgate emergency rules to implement major provisions of the Vermont homelessness response continuum. The rules involve the most fundamental and basic rights of people experiencing homelessness, the right to shelter and to due process protections. And for people with disabilities, the rules impact their right to be free from discrimination, their right to have program rules modified so they have equal opportunity to access the continuum, and their right to live in the community rather than in segregated environments. These rules really matter. First, I'd like to address our concerns around the lack of adequate opportunities for public input into the emergency rules. The Vermont Administrative Procedure Act requires agencies to maximize the involvement of the public in the development of rules. In the case of emergency, an agency must provide whatever notice and hearing the agency finds practicable under the circumstances. But an agency's discretion and the level of public input isn't wholly unfettered, as the Vermont Supreme Court noted in Hunter versus State. We are asking the agency to provide more opportunity for public comment on the emergency rules. The governor signed Act 143 on June 16th, 2026. The ACLU of Vermont submitted a petition to hold hearings on the rule on June 23rd, 2026. This hearing was not scheduled until July 17th. The public was only given 1 business day of notice of this hearing. Written comments are due in 1 week, but most people don't know that they have the opportunity to comment. To give the people most directly impacted by these rules the opportunity to comment, additional time and notice is needed. We will submit detailed written comments on the rules, but for today, I'd like to highlight key aspects in our review of the draft rules the agency posted online on Friday. People experiencing homelessness have the right to self-determination, both as a matter of the liberty interests protected by our Constitution and under the language of Act 143. We have concerns that the rules do not give participants choice in the level of emergency housing service. We're also concerned that the rules appear to require participation in supportive services, something that was specifically not contemplated by the language of Act 143. We are also concerned about equity in this system. Vermont's Constitution prohibits arbitrary and irrational classifications. That includes arbitrary classifications based on geography. The draft rules imply that an eligible household could be denied benefits solely based on the luck of geography or local staffing levels. That's not acceptable. Similarly, we're concerned about accessibility in the system for people with disabilities. Rules, including time limits, must be modified to ensure that people with disabilities aren't subject to disparate treatment or put at serious risk of harm to their health. And because people with disabilities have a right to live in integrated environments, they can't be forced to choose between unsheltered homelessness and institutional care or segregated settings. We're concerned that the rules don't reflect the known needs of people with disabilities and their right to live in the community with other Vermonters. As I mentioned earlier, we will follow up with more detailed comments by the 27th and hope to have additional opportunities to provide feedback before the rules are implemented on September 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Jonathan Farrell, are you ready to provide some testimony?
Barely, but
Yeah.
yes. So
Great.
first, I'm Jonathan Farrell, I'm the Executive Director of COTS in Burlington and Chittenden County. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. I will just reiterate the extremely short timeline that has been offered for comments. I received notice of it this morning because I was away at the end of last week for a day or two. Second, so I think more time for the comments is critical. Secondly, currently, I'm looking at section 2.02 on the possibility for extensions. I want to reiterate to folks that we have 31 families in Chittenden County who are on wait lists for shelter services who are currently living unsheltered. So we need to understand how we can start to house those folks even on a temporary basis while they wait for services and they wait for shelter. That section mentions an assessment that I don't know what that assessment is. It mentions scores that are highlighted as an X. So, I mean, that's it's critical that we start thinking about how we're going to get unsheltered families who are trying to engage in services, sheltered in hotels or something similar. Those are my comments for right now. I'll try to submit more to my colleague Chad at the HHAV for inclusion in their memo. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Julia Hawley. Maybe Julia has left. I'm not sure.
She
All right,
said in the
said she's
chat that
here to
she was
listen.
listening.
Thank you. Julie Bond.
I just trying to get off the mute and video. Uh, Hi there. I don't know if my name's Julie Bond. I'm the executive director at Good Samaritan Haven.
Of what? I'm sorry.
Good Samaritan Haven.
Thank you.
Is this process, does that include stating questions or just putting those in a written comment process? I'm just looking to ask questions in order to get clarity, in order to make comments. So.
Yeah, so this is simply a comment period for the public to come forward with any comments they might have. This is not a question and answer. If you have questions that you would like to pose, we can't answer them, but they might be something that we will consider as we move forward.
Okay. Okay. So I'll run through a few of them. In part one, general provisions, 5.01, it names as an assessment screening tool will be established and maintained by the department. Just wondering if that already exists, and if so, can that be included in the rules for transparency or shared in a separate process so we understand how that integrates into this rules process. In part three, the application process number 1.00. Applications for the program may be completed in person or by phone. Is it a centralized process that we're talking about still, or is any of that through the various shelters? Just trying to understand a little bit more clarity there. I assume it's through ESD, but just trying to understand. Section 2.0 of that part 3, applicant needs assessment. Eligible household shall participate in an individualized needs assessment. Again, who does this? What's that process entail? There looks like there's multiple processes, which speed is of the utmost in this, trying to get individuals housed and assessed and moved through quickly. There's quite a lot of intensity in terms of proving somebody's verification of residency, which I think might be, again, a timeliness issue when it comes to getting people placed and housed and sheltered quickly. And that, I think, is in part 3, application process 3.02, verification requirements. And then part just going through these papers here. Part 8, level 4 services, 4.01. Again, those have open score amounts, so we're not sure about that, but that looks to me that it's like piecemeal, individualized stays that are shorter within the 70-day period, which seems also to be very intensive in terms of trying to identify somebody's ability to work within that 70-day allocation in the streamline process. Section part 8, level 4 services, 6.00 hotel and motel requirements, 6.03. That part is talking about withholding payments to hotel operators, I believe. No doubt that will also result in an exiting of a hotel guest stay. That just is what the reality is. So hopefully there will be a clause built in there that the guest is able to be transferred by ISD to another participating hotel that is in compliance within the region or even the state in order to keep them housed while if the hotel is out of compliance and being withheld with payment. And then part 9, or even the whole process, I'm just concerned that case managers is a term that's named here a lot, in particular section 6.0 and throughout the next sections. And wondering if there's a better term like benefits navigator for that, because I'm not sure whether the scope is fully case manager within the work that will be performed to case manage an individual. Um, just a curiosity there. And then on part 10, termination and reinstatement of benefits or program 2.01, the department and community partners shall provide the household with written advance notice of termination. Just want to flag, how might that be delivered if we can get it really make sure that there's multiple levels of delivery for that digital, maybe in-person delivery, maybe something that's even a longer advance notice of more than 10 days, because we time and time again have delays in mail service ordering address or any of that kind of stuff, which leads to delay in awareness of the guests having their program eligibility terminated. So I think that's it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Julie. I appreciate that.
Thank
How about a lot of you who are just visiting? See who, how about Lori? Lori Mumley, are you here?
Oh, yes, I am.
Would you like to speak?
Sure, wasn't prepared for that, but I can. Uh, I'm really here to make sure that individuals, adults with developmental disabilities who are at imminent risk of homelessness, which is most of them, particularly those living with aging parents, are considered and that there's a plan moving forward. I see that they're eligible, of course, due to their disabilities under the priority list, but I wanted to make sure that it is considered that they are at imminent risk. I can actually give an example of my own adult son who cannot be left by himself. In January, I had a medical emergency that required surgery. The only reason I was able to get that taken care of was that my other child was home from college and able to stay with him. But if I had needed rehab, she had to go back to college. There was nowhere for him to go. And that's a situation that happens with increasing frequency as the aging caregivers. I mean, I'm in my 60s. I know parents in their 80s, single parents, caring for their adult children with developmental disabilities, and there doesn't seem to be a plan at all for that population or a consideration that, yeah, they're at imminent risk of homelessness and they can't just be dumped into a shelter because they wouldn't be able to accommodate their needs. So that's why I'm here, just to bring that up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Shelby LeBaron, are you here?
I think she's listening and going tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Change your mind, feel free to speak up. Is there anybody online who wanted to speak, who is not here just to listen? Looks like no, so we will move on to people who are here in person. Would you like to speak?
Yes. I'm Amy Schollenberger. I'm here representing the Vermont Community Action Partnership. I'm not gonna make significant comments on the rule yet, like others, too short notice. But I will just note that this meeting does not at all comply with best practices for hybrid meetings. And if you really want it to be inclusive, you should at least make sure that people can hear the comments and know who's in the room. Thank you.
Thank you for that. This is the first time I've actually run a meeting, so I appreciate the comment. I'd be happy to tell people who is in the room. I don't know everybody's name who's here. So is Amy Schollenberger, and let's hope I don't but Alexa Carambelas. Yeah. And we have Sandy Hoffman in the room as well, Commissioner Sandy Hoffman. We have Lily Solgener, who is the Director of the Office of Economic Opportunity in DCF. And we have blanking on your name.
Deanna Hartog.
Deanna Hartog from Vermont Legal Aid. And
Hi, I'm Beverly Bogat from the Vermont Early Childhood Advocacy Alliance.
I just want to know, we should be able to see the screen. and
oh,
there
do you have a computer?
There should be a speaker,
Well, we came in person.
right? Like,
You should
it
have
was a
screen
hybrid
first.
meeting, so that means,
Yes.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying you should at least follow best practices, especially when you're doing such a short timeline with very limited access to providing comments. The meeting should at least be inclusive and accessible to everyone who comes.
Thank you. I do appreciate that, and I will certainly try to be more attentive next time.
I'm sorry, could you let us know who you are? I would like.
Yes, I mentioned it earlier today, though. I'm Jennifer Micah. I'm General Counsel for DCF.
General Counsel.
General Counsel for
Thank
DCF.
May I ask, will these, will this link to the Zoom be online so that we could watch it? That people that weren't able to make it here, and or will the testimony that people have given be submitted in writing, and will there be a link somewhere where we could look that up?
I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you on that. We'll answer those questions and put them on the link to the site on the homelessness response continuum. Deanna, would you like to speak?
Sure. I can turn on my camera and unmute
Sure.
myself if that you just might need to mute yourself.
Yes, I'm happy to do that. Yep.
Yeah. Have some bad.
All right, hope everyone can hear me. Okay, perfect. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to comment. My name is Deanna Hartog, and I'm speaking on behalf of Vermont Legal Aid. We appreciate the work that has gone into these emergency rules, and we recognize that there are a lot of important protections for participants, which we appreciate and support. I would like to focus on 3 areas today where the rules could be strengthened. We also will be submitting written comment in advance of the deadline. So these are just brief comments. First, the rules need to require notices to provide the specific factual and legal basis for adverse decisions. Act 143 requires the department to provide, again, the specific factual and legal basis for the office or community partner's decision. Households have to receive enough information to understand what facts the department relied on, what rule applies, and why the department reached its conclusion. Meaningful notice is essential to meaningful appeal rights. If people don't understand why a decision was made, they can't effectively challenge errors or exercise the rights that Act 132 were intended to provide. We also encourage the department to continue delivering notices in ways that are likely to actually reach participants. The department's practice of providing notice by email has been a really significant improvement, and we encourage continued flexibility in meeting participants where they are, including consideration of additional methods such as text message notifications. Effective notice depends not only on the content in the notice, but also whether people actually receive it. Second, the rules should clearly require advance written notice whenever a household loses any sort of emergency housing. The draft rules provide notice in many circumstances, but it's not always clear that notice is required when housing is lost due to an authorization expiring, an extension being denied, capacity limitations, or other program decisions. And from the perspective of the household, the reason for the loss of housing is less important than the fact that that housing is actually being lost. We encourage the department to clarify that any action resulting in the loss or reduction of emergency housing assistance requires advance written notice and appeal rights. And third, we encourage the department to add greater transparency and procedural protections regarding prioritization and assessment decisions. The proposed rules rely on screening and assessment tools that can have significant consequences to participants. Individuals should have the ability to know their assessment results, understand how decisions are made, and challenge errors when they occur. Transparency helps ensure both fairness and confidence in the system. Again, Vermont Legal Aid really appreciates the improvements reflected in these rules, and we look forward to submitting more detailed written comments and recommendations during the public comment period. Thank you.
Thanks, Deanna. Would you like to speak? No. Is there anybody, there's nobody else here in person who would like to speak? Is there anybody else online who would like to speak?
Sorry, Jennifer, I think I need the recordings because I can't really take notes I can't really take notes and listen at the same time. I need to use an assistive device to do it.
Noted. Anybody else? Sarah?
Hi, this is Sarah Launderville. Can you hear me okay?
Can you all hear her?
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, I'm with the Vermont Center for Independent Living. I actually just joined, so I apologize for being late, and I haven't been able to fully get all of my thoughts together yet, but I did read the rules, so I just wanted to say out loud that I will be submitting formal comments in writing. But I was struck on a number of pieces of this of how the law that passed doesn't match these rules. And so I guess I would like to encourage that the department look that through. We will certainly submit comments, but it's taking us a little bit longer to put together comments because there are all these pieces that are really striking to me of how it's not fitting what the law was that passed the legislature. Certainly concerned about what seems to be an over-verification of requirements and forced services, especially to folks with individuals with disabilities, which is the population that we work with. So we will be submitting comments in writing, but thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Sarah. Anyone else online who hasn't had a chance to speak yet who would like to? Well, I'm here till 6 o'clock, so.
Is the meeting tomorrow to be run like this as well, but you have to be on your computer if you want, and when you're in person? if you want to be able to really hear what people are saying.
That's a good question. Heidi, do you know?
I don't know what the technological capabilities at the Miller Center are, so I would assume that it would be the same setup.
You should at least bring a speaker. So that people in the room don't have to sit right on top of you to hear what's being said. That would go a long way.
Thank you. I'll see what I can do.
You could also bring an external monitor so it could face out. Get it.
I could have turned it. I'm sorry that we didn't. I'm sorry I didn't
I
think
mean,
of it
it's
earlier.
still hard to see, but it's just like basic, like I would think DCF would have basic protocols for hybrid meetings. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying.
You can blame me. It's okay.
Well, it's just if you're giving testimony and people online, you have to have your computer or the people online can't hear or see you.
I had anticipated that people would come up to talk. To
But the
speak.
computer was facing you.
Right, but that's because people were sitting. Anyway,
It's
anyway, I apologize.
It's
I do sincerely apologize.
We
I'll
get
try
it.
to do better next time. I really will.
Can I ask, is there a typical rule or process that says what time frame when you release a rule for public comment, how much notice you need to give people to respond in terms of like between the release of the notification of when the public forums will be and when the public forums are?
The rules are different for emergency rulemaking.
That's true.
There are for permanent rulemaking, clear rules, yeah. But this is emergency rulemaking, so
And we appreciate the opportunity to give input and feedback. It was just Friday afternoon.
I
before
understand.
people
I really
got
do.
notice.
I do. I completely understand. There are timing issues within the department too about who needs to review the rules at a certain point. So we needed to act quickly.
Mhm.
It just creates the impression that you don't really want the feedback, that's all.
It's the opposite of that. It was a good faith effort to try to get an opportunity to receive.
I'm just reflecting how it felt to me.
Yeah, I just want you to know that it is that we want the comments. That's what we. But you may want to say that so folks online can hear. I don't know if everyone can.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandy Hoffman just spoke and she indicated that the purpose of this meeting was because we really do want to hear what people have to say. And we apologize that it was a short turnaround. But we did try to make a good faith effort to invite people in two different locations at two different times, on two different days to provide that feedback to us. And we did provide a week of opportunity to provide written comments after the posting of the draft rules. So I understand that it's not perfect and we will continue to work to try to improve it next time.
Can you say what your timeline is for promulgating the final rule, the final emergency rule?
Yeah. That's an act.
That's in the law, yeah. I just didn't know if you were working on a faster timeline or.
Jennifer, I think Jessica has her hand up.
Oh. Thanks, Chad. Jessica, did you want to say something?
Just a question going back to the process, since a lot of people have given feedback on the needing a bit more time to be able to comment. So I know there are still also a number of draft rules parts that haven't been released, and for providers to prepare and for impacted people to prepare and communities to prepare. How soon do you think the department would be able to put out a timeline of when the different parts of the rules will be issued as drafts and further opportunities for comment?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think I can't speak for other people. I'll just speak for myself. I would be deeply concerned if we didn't see more before September 1.
Thanks for letting us know. Yes, we'll get back to you on that, Brenda. Did someone just join? What's that?
Can I use that one?
Yes, I believe so. It's the for the hall. Is there anybody here who needs the Wi-Fi password?
Yes.
Is that Amy?
Yep.
Did you talk to me?
There's a hand up in the.
Oh, thank you. Marla McQuiston? Would you like to speak? Marla? Marla, if you're there, would you like to speak or did you
Sure.
accidentally put? Oh, okay, great.
No, that's
Thanks.
okay. I just didn't know what the procedure was, so. Yeah,
You got
I'd
the
like
floor.
to. I'm kind of representing the Developmental Disabilities Housing Initiative. There's approximately 175 families are part of our initiative. We're statewide, and we basically are families of young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities who have higher than have high or medium support needs. So not people that are going to be able to live in an apartment on their own. We've been advocating for a number of years for stable service supported peer residences for our adult children. And they all qualify for Medicaid home community-based services waivers. And so what we're asking is that the Department of Children and Families, and we've already asked to the Department of Disabilities, Aging, and Independent Living that they would allocate 50 rental assistant vouchers for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in these emergency rules decisions for vouchers. Other agencies of human service populations receive state-funded rental assistance. We're asking for equitable treatment for adults with IDD. They're at a high, individuals with IDD are at a high risk of homelessness as the elderly parents become unable to care for them. They have limited financial means, cannot move into housing without rental subsidies. There's a number of now several projects that we've been able to have initiated in the last 4 or 5 years. And some of them are online, some of them are pending online, and they will need rental assistance. They will need vouchers to be able to provide ongoing housing. While we understand that people exiting homelessness are an important population, the intent of the bill was to highlight that people with IDD are a population equal in priority. Most of our young adults, well, all of them, are not going to ever be homeless because if they were homeless, they would not survive. So they don't then qualify for coordinated entry, which means that they don't fall into the category of homelessness that is covered supposedly in the homelessness designation. But they continue to be housed then. If they don't have housing, then they continue to be housed in hospitals or institutions very inappropriately. We know that there's a need in Vermont for over 600 units, and that was from a study done 3 years ago. The population, as you know, the population of Vermont is aging. Most of our parents are between 60 and 80 years old. Some are older. Family, these young adults are living at home and they need to have a place to live. And we're trying to see these things developed with developers. Developers really count on the promised and plan on going to the bank with rental assistance vouchers promised so that they can pencil out a project. So thank you for considering that. We have at least 25 spots that will be available in housing projects within the next year that will need vouchers to be successful. Thanks very much.
Thanks for raising that. I appreciate it.
happy to answer questions if you have any.
Jennifer, can I ask a question?
You may. I'm not sure I'll be able to answer it though.
That's okay. I just had put in the chat, I just wanted to clarify in case you hadn't seen it, that I know that some of the questions that people have asked today, you had said that you would get back to them. So I just wanted to clarify if that was directly to people or if that would be in tomorrow's space, that you would get back to them, or like how that looks, I guess, because I think a lot of us are curious on answers to some of those questions.
If there are questions of general concern, we'll post answers on our homelessness response site. If there are questions related to a particular person, we will be reaching out to that particular person.
Okay, and is there a timeline on when you would put those responses on the website?
I have not created a timeline yet.
Okay. I think there's a lot of people in here that agree that timelines have been very short, so just curious if there was some idea on that. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Zoe Flagellé, am I pronouncing that right? Would you like to speak? Everyone else has spoken at this point.
I also think she's just here to listen.
Thank you.
While we're waiting, could you give us some guidance about where we could find on your website the homelessness response? Continue on the link, the page where you're going to be putting everything down. Because when I Google it, nothing comes up. And I can't find it on your web when I go to your main webpage.
Yeah. Go into
It doesn't come up under, on the DCF page, it doesn't come up under emergency housing. Oh, thank you. But I just mean it, like somebody who's not on this call is looking for it, it's really hard to find. I wonder if the draft rules could be on the front page of the DCF websites. Like you usually put kind of emergent things. Also, I'm not able to get into this, so I can't get the chat.
I know, you.
Huh?
She's emailed, I emailed you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, there it is. I got an email from him. I appreciate it.
No, good question. Thank you.
For some reason, I can't get onto the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's under OEO under programs.
The OEO is a different page than DCF.
No, it's one of the divisions, under the divisions.
So I don't see it. OEO is a choice. In the alphabetical listing. You go to the Department of Children and Families on the website, divisions. So it's across the top, not down the list. Okay. You really have to dig to find it. Just when you Google it, it should come up.
It's new, so I think that's might be part of the reason it doesn't come up quickly. Did somebody just join who would like to speak?
Sorry, I'm just here to listen today. I just rejoined.
That's fine, thank you. Just didn't want to leave somebody out who wanted to speak.
Okay.
Megan, I see you rejoined. Did you want to speak?
I always have a fun conversation, but I actually got booted, so I'm back now.
Oh.
Okay, I came up with a question.
Can't guarantee I can answer, but you can try.
That's fine. That's fine. We're figuring it out. If just out of curiosity, I know that there's tonight until 6 and then tomorrow open. If there's people that live with disabilities that are trying to come up with ways to ask their questions, is that going to be the only time that they're able to ask those questions, or is there going to be like a platform or a way to accommodate those people in order to be able to ask those questions after the fact if they can't get it together before then? In an organized fashion, I should say.
Yeah, these are the two in-person meetings, today and tomorrow, and then there is a
Okay.
link to public comment email.
Okay, and those have to be in by the 27th?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so if they didn't have until then, or if they didn't have it by then there wouldn't be another option for somebody to submit something?
Well, if we get emails, we don't ignore them.
Okay.
So I'll say that.
Okay. Okay, I guess I'm just curious about, I know there's some comments from some people that I think are just trying to figure out how to word their things. So just curious if there was any type of accommodations or anything like that.
I mean, if there's a specific request for an accommodation, you can let us know. I mean, we have, people can call and leave messages on the phone.
Okay.
We have a consumer line. Is that what you're looking for? Like something where people can verbalize a comment?
Yeah, I mean, I guess however it looks like, if I know, I mean, typically, people can request reasonable accommodations through the department. So is that like something that you guys would be doing in this instance as well? Or would it just be like kind of reach out with your questions and then you get back to them as though like that mailbox, so to speak? Does that make sense?
They can ask questions at any time. This is just specific comments.
Okay.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
Yep.
That led to me having a question. So can they request a reasonable accommodation for the length of time it takes to do the comment if they're going to have challenges or need extra assistance to do so?
I think as with all reasonable accommodations, they need to submit a request for it with a description of what they think they need.
This is an email for CCTV. They will help you do a hybrid meeting. Any PEG access TV station will help you across the state to set up a hybrid meeting. You can email them and I just asked them if they could help you too.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for making the time.
Take care. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Yeah, so that. Alex, are you calling her? Yeah, okay, I'll call.
Alright. Sorry, I had my audio muted. Amy Schullenberger just asked when the comments were due, and I clarified that they are due Monday, the 27th of July.
Jennifer,
Yep,
is there a, do you know if there's, I don't know if there's also a transcript?
I'll have to, if we have one, we'll post it.
Okay. All right. The recording is fine because I can use a device to help, but the transcript would prevent that one step for me, but both would be good.
I think we'll be posting them tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks for sticking around.
Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Have a good evening.
You too.
I'll see you again tomorrow.
Take care, Brenda. Have a good
Bye.
evening.
You too.
Thanks.
Maybe. Okay. Got it.
Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm gonna close it down now. Have a good evening.